Greetings once again, and welcome back to another episode of the Brink podcast. I am Jonathan Thomas here with you, and really want to thank you all for joining us and just being a part of this journey as we build this brand into something that we all can be proud of, something that is going to encourage us and push us to transformation to the next level of greatness that is before us, push us past that brink as we sit on the edge of whatever it is that we're going through or experiencing and achieving the level of success that is there for us to have. Last time we came on the episode, we talked about starting, beginning, uh, the difficulties behind that, and really just taking advantage of the opportunities as they present themselves. Because there's a lot of hesitation and apprehension whenever we want to start something new for a myriad of factors, right? But at the end of the day, we don't want to be sitting around with regrets because whether it be that degree, certificate, um, whatever knowledge you're trying to achieve, whatever maybe item you're trying to sell, that business that you're trying to start, you could spend 5 years toiling over it. Either way, that 5 years is going to pass. So you could spend that time toiling over it, or you could take that first step, start the momentum into the direction that you're trying to go. And with that, you'll be way further ahead than if you were to just sit there. Gave an example about how we're starting the t-shirt brand business early, years ago, and to think that if I didn't take that opportunity then, we wouldn't be here today. We would still be, twirling our thumbs, hoping and wishing, dreaming, and having no discipline, no plan, anything in place to get to the next step. And I think that is the most important thing is while you're on that journey to really figure out what it is that you want to do, whatever your niche is, whatever your thing is, to take what you have. And the big picture is beautiful, but to focus on doing the next best thing. Focus on the next thing, not the thing that's 50 steps away, the next best thing. So, whether that be going through, checking out your hobbies or whatever the case may be, like just tap into something that interests you and glean from it what it is that you need to move forward. Speaking of hobbies, one of my favorite things uh, that I don't really get to do as much as I used to because kids, family life, those things of that nature. I love going to the movies. Went to the movies all the time growing up. It was my favorite pastime, if you will. It's different now. You got streaming services X, Y, and Z, but I used to love going to the theater, grabbing a bucket of popcorn, no bag, the bucket boy, and just enjoying cinema. Any good movie will emote some type of feeling inside of you. Like they'll inspire you, encourage you, um, and they'll push you to see the idea that they're trying to portray. Right? Um, I'm one of them cats where I ain't the loud cat in the theater, but I if we're watching a movie that I've seen like 50 times, I'm gonna quote this joint. Now I've done better. I'm not gonna quote it in the movie, but like if I'm by myself, like internally or outwardly, I will quote the movie. One of my favorite movies to watch is like I'm a Disney cat, so 80s 90s kid. I would watch a Goofy movie, and I could quote Goofy movie, probably do the second Goofy movie too, pretty smooth. Uh, but quotes in movies, right? We're always leaning on the quotes. The one from the Goofy movie, I'm being a little silly right here, just being my personality. Like, hey Stacy, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, baby. That was one of the joints that when I was a kid, I was like, oh, that is funny than a mug. But quotes are kind of kind of pivotal moments in a movie that sometimes it's just a moment of brevity. Sometimes they focus around a central point, like on Neo in the Matrix series. There's a lot of things where it's like, I knew you were the one, and when he's going through that process of self discovery and coming into his level of greatness, and as we talked about starting in the beginning, we also focused on what our identity is or how we are linked into our identity. Because I remember going through looking at my job and not being able to provide in the way that I was used to. I really struggled with what my identity was. And I thought I knew. I thought I was solid, knew what was going on with myself, well put together. But then when that thing was taken away, it really rocked me. And I go back to one of my favorite movies of all time is The Lion King animated version. And it's the scene, where Simba and Rafiki, Simba don't really know who Rafiki is. Rafiki knows who he is, and he's leading him on this little excursion, all the while with the purpose of pulling out of him what he knows is inside of him. And he has the moment where he's looking in the water, and Rafiki was like, you look down there in the water. Simba looks, and Rafiki, and Simba's like, man, that's just a reflection. I said, no, he said, look hard. And then it morphed into Mufasa, his father. And it's a beautiful picture there, of God inside of us and how we lose our identity in the things that happen in the situations that we may come across, right? And Mufasa says, "You have forgotten who you are and have so forgotten me." And at the end of the encounter, he says, "Remember who you are." At the end of these videos, and how we've ran things on other platforms, I try to remind myself and remind others, remember you're great. Remember who you are. Because the world will give you an identity. It'll give you a cliche. It'll give you a stereotype. It'll give you all these things to cling to. But when you start to step into your greatness, you'll be met with a lot of opposition, either from the outside world or even from the inside world of yourself, because you're trying to wrestle with the fact that, wait a minute, why am I, if I am all these things, then why am I going through these struggles? Why am I making these decisions? What's going on? So I believe that there are a myriad, a whole bunch of different ways that you can look at yourself in a positive light. And there are many things that God says about us throughout the scripture that will encourage you through those times when you're struggling with your identity. And there are three in particular that should give you some, open the door, give you some insight into the direction that you should be going, the things that you should be um, more focused on than those things that are tearing you down, not encouraging you, and leaving you in a loop that will not see the fruit that God has for you to bear. Okay. So, number one, when you go through Genesis very early on, we're kicking it right out from the start. It says, let us make man in our image. So, to that point, you have to know, and the truth is the truth. You're made in the image of God, the Most High, the ultimate consciousness, whatever you want to say. Um, God said, let us make his image. So it's like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Okay. Oh, he gave his hands, he gave his feet, eyes to see, blah, 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 blah. It's way deeper than that. It's the fact that who God is in the beginning, how it is described early on, throughout any of the texts that you want to pontificate on. God is a creator, the creator, not the creator. And in that, as an image bearer, you are a creator as well. So a part of your identity is to be a creator, is to create, is to create in the fold of being a service. Um, Making something beautiful for someone to see, making something useful for someone to use, making something tasty for them to enjoy in this life that we get to live. And when you realize that those all those ideas you have, the businesses you want to start, the uh, foundations you want to begin, how you want to help other people, things you want to do that no one else is doing. That is a very creative power that you have to lean into. So whether it be on the job 9 to 5, whether it be outside off work, whether it be with your family or your kids, because that is a big part of my life, your ability to be creative, to be flexible, if you will, through to the situation is going to allow you to look outside the box that society has put us into, that they would love to be able to control us and get through whatever agendas they have. Because if you're not creative, all you're gonna do is look at what's before you. You're gonna take it as it is at face value. But until you're able to be creative and look outside those boxes, um, or when you are able to do that, because that is who you are, it will allow you to expand on the life that you have in the life of those around you. And that is essential to your being. Um, so, creative, we got that. To create, that's a part of your identity. Uh, Number two, you have to realize that you are wonderfully and fearfully made, per scripture. It is, I mean, if you could even fathom, and there's whole books dedicated to this, especially if you're in the medical field. There's whole studies, fields of study. People study this for their whole life. The meticulous way that the human body has been put together. Let's just talk about the human body. The miles and miles, the expansive nature of just our blood vessels. If they were tip to tip and it could circle the world, I forget how many times, all of your organs working in the way. Like, when the last time you told your heart to beat? When the last time you told your heart to beat? When the last time you told your lungs breathe? Taking the oxygen, do an exchange where the oxygen goes into the blood, and then the carbon dioxide waste from that then is expired through your nose and also through your skin. And oh, the cells, the organelles, the mitochondria, the ribosomes, the cytoplasm, the remarkable, marvelous nature of the human body is beyond words. They don't even know how it really works all the way. You can count the amount of bones, cool. Ligaments, all right, number those out. But outside of that, where else you gonna go? So remember that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. And number three, we'll wrap things up, is that you are not an accident. Um, it is clearly stated that God has created you with an intention, plans to prosper you and not harm you, everything to be for your good. So, with that knowledge in hand, you can go forward and look at whatever situation you're in, and not to minimize it, because a lot of people go through a lot of horrible things in this world that stay quiet, stay in the dark, stay in the shadows. But with that knowledge that, hey, there is a God, there is a power beyond all this situation that I have right now. And it has a plan for me to prosper. That could be hard to tell. That could be hard to see. But then when you link it all the way back to the beginning, that you were made in his image, you are his image bearer, you are a child of God, then it kind of starts to make sense because as a parent, only thing you want for your kids is to be successful, healthy, safe, whole nine, right? And there's nothing that you wouldn't do for them to have a better life than yourself. So likewise, with a God that is without blame, doesn't lie, not like man, how much more would he want for you, his child? That's something to chew on, something to marinate on. But that will help you, those three things will help you with reforming your identity if you have an issue with it. And also, it'll help you with, what's the word I'm looking for? It'll help you with continuing to keep that in the forefront. And from an applicable standpoint, how are you going to apply this in everyday life? Okay, you got the information. We all got information. You got AI. You got anything like that. The way to do this best is to have these things written out. Go on and take out some paper, pen and paper, or I mean, pen and paper would be best. But if it's just a note on your phone or a reminder, maybe you set it to an alarm and you put these three things down. I'm made in the image of God. I am a creator. Also, I am wonderfully and fearfully made, and God has a plan for me. And just set a timer for that on your phone that goes off maybe once a day. Just keep, you ain't gotta get crazy with it. Once a day, every day at 3:30, 2:30, 3:30. Just let that be what that is, okay? And it'll be a reminder for you because through repetition, through reading something over and over again, through seeing something over and over again, it'll program your mind to think it subconsciously, unconsciously, without even thinking about it. And then it'll become as linked to your personality and linked to your identity as all these other things that society has placed in your path for you to attach to. So I really hope that blessed y'all today and that you continue on your journey. Don't forget to start. If you need permission, once again, Brink is your permission. Go ahead and do it. Achieve your next level of greatness and do it. Have fun with it. You know what I'm saying? Don't take it so seriously. Sometimes you and me take things too seriously. So it'd be best if you just take the next best step and don't look around trying to figure out what everybody else is doing. Comparison is a thief of joy. And just lay the next brick. Don't worry about building the whole house right now. Just lay the next brick. So until next time, stay blessed. Remember you're great. See you next time.